because of my break, I haven't been recording, but I have been reading, and I'm so excited that I finally read some very much anticipated books over this winter break because I pre-ordered them, and then they came in October, and I couldn't touch them. I could not read them at all until I was finally done with the semester. And so when I was done writing my final essays and packing and everything, I locked in and read. And my goal for the semester, since I'm only taking one class, I am teaching two, but I'm taking one class, so I should have enough of free time to throw in a little bit of free reading. I also have a goal of actually tracking my reading. I started, because I haven't finished the first entry, but I started a reading journal in my Paper Republic cover journal. I started a reading journal here, and then I'm going to visually track them in my actual planner. And for 2026, I got the Tollite collaboration with Hobonichi Weeks. Isn't she beautiful? The back is also really nice. I'm not a big fan of pink, but this combination was really nice. I love it so much. These babies were selling out so fast, so I'm actually really happy that I was able to get the collaboration that I wanted. So yes, I will be visually keeping track of them here in two different ways. I'm gonna post a picture up of how I want to keep track of them in my writing in my Hobonichi Weeks. So that specific layout is the inspo, but I'm also going to add them in my monthlies just so I could see which books I read in those actual months. And if I could turn, so the Hobonichi Weeks begins on December of the last year. So December, roundabout way to the original conversation that I was talking about. In December, one of my most anticipated books that I read was The Possession of Alba Diaz by Isabel Cañas. This layout is a little bit different because I was only able to read one. I started a second book in December, but I finished it in January, so I'm going to count it as a January read. But I'm basically going to add them in my calendar overview. So this one's different because it's a bigger picture and it takes up like a lot of the calendar. But my goal is to size it up the same way that the original layout is going to be so that I could fit multiple books in the calendar. And basically on this side over here, right under the month, I want to put as many books that I read for the month, if that makes sense. I'll come back. I'll explain better once I have that actual layout at least started, or when I finish it in my reading wrap-up. But yes, so the the first book that I read that was very, very anticipated was The Possession of Alba Diaz. I read La Hacienda, loved it. I love Vampiros en el Norte. I read Vampiros en el Norte, loved it. So when I found out that she was coming out with a third book, automatic buy. She is in auto buy for me, honestly. I love the fact that she's Mexican American and that her settings are in historical Mexico. Like it's great. Each book feels like I'm reading a novella. Yeah, baby. You're okay. Ay, qué chiquiada. Ay, qué chiquiada. I live with my dog now, and she's not really used to me talking to the camera. But he is. He's used to it. She's getting used to it. But anyways, each book feels like a novella. and I love every second of it. For The Possession of Alba Diaz, the third act of the book kind of like did a little dip. The way that the book ended in general just like made up for it. Like I was upset for a little moment, and then it's like if that moment didn't happen again. It was just, I think, a weird transition. I usually don't rate books because I still highly recommend books I don't like because everybody's reading style is different, you know? Even as close as our reading styles could be, you could like a book that I just don't. With that being said, this is a 5 out of 5 for me, and I love it so much. It's really great. Anyways, the second highly anticipated book that I read, that I just finished 2 days ago actually, was Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I don't read Ali Hazelwood. The Bride and Mate books, the standalones, duologies, I don't know. Those two books are the only Ali Hazelwood books I've ever read, and I thought they were great. All I wanted was to have a good time, read some werewolf smut, and Miss Hazelwood delivered. She sure did deliver. I personally preferred Bride, but I did still really like Mate. It was still a good book for me. Today is Wednesday, and I don't know when I'm gonna post this video, but I officially start school on Monday. My goal is to try to finish 2 more books by Monday, and I am still going to count my mandatory school reads as part of my reading goals, I guess. Reading trackers. Because 1, I am still reading, and 2, I make the rules. Like I said, I've never literally actually tracked books that I've read or like have set a goal for myself or anything like that. So I don't know how many books I can actually read, given the free time and everything like that. So I am doing that this year. I did kind of set myself a goal. It's kind of arbitrary. I don't have to try to meet it because I don't know if it's actually possible. But I want to try to read 100 books this year. I feel like I've done it before, given just the fact that, you know, I in school and everything like that. But I want to see if I could actually physically do it. And if you're not new here, then you'll know that I sometimes don't read for school. So if I don't read it, I'm not going to count it. But if I read it, I'm going to count it. So yeah, so the current book that I'm reading, the current book that I picked up after May is, I think it's called The Lover. I'll post a cover up here. I honestly can't remember who the author is at all as well. It's only 155 pages, so I should be able to squeeze it in to make the goal of reading 2 more books by Monday. Like I said, today's Wednesday. Trying to read 1 more book. Anyways, so far it's fine. I really can't say much because I'm only on like page 10. But I've heard good things about it, and that's what's keeping me optimistic. During the move, I have not actually packed and transferred my books to this apartment. I just have so many, and I needed to prioritize. So I actually went today to pick up the last of my things, essentially the last of all of it. And so before I officially left though, I went into the corner where all my TBR books are and picked up my next 3 reads for when, just to hold me over until I actually transport all my books over here. So Priority wise, the next book that I want to read is Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. And I've heard so many good things about this novel. When it was getting popular on all the social medias, it intrigued me. Can't remember what it's about, but I've finally got the itch to want to finally pick this up, so I'm finally picking it up. And then I don't know which one would be next. I don't really like to give myself like hard. Anyways, the other two books that I picked up is Wilder Girls by Rory Power, which again, can't remember what it's about. I just remember having this in my cart on Amazon for the longest time. And then I was able to find it for $1 cheaper at my school bookstore. So that was pretty cool. So it's Wilder Girls by Rory Power, and then The Transit of Venus by Shirley Hazard, and this is actually Australian. Ooh, and it's a Greek tragedy adaptation. Greek tragedy adaptation. Ooh, I'm excited. Anyways, yeah, The Transit of Venus. And then these are one of these like obscure finds that as like I'm browsing the internet, honestly, Amazon, they obviously the algorithm sees what I have in my carts and they're like, hey, you might like this book. And also, honestly, the title got me. I'm judging a book by its title, essentially, because that does happen. So yeah, so that's a quick little update of what I'm reading. Wish me luck. Cross my fingers. Wish me luck that I can meet my goal and finish like to clear things up, right? My goal is to try to finish Martyr before school starts. I only have like, I think 100 pages left in The Lover, and this book is barely 300 pages. Yeah, it's 300 and... Oh, it quotes Clarice Lispector. I love that. Anyways, it's 331 pages, so I could do that in 4 days for sure. I'm excited. I'm so excited because I haven't had like this much urge to read. So yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you. Bye. I hope this was recording. Anyways, sorry. I can't remember the last time I recorded. It's been a couple of days since the last time I recorded. Yeah. We both at each other. Oh god.
Anyways, hi, good morning. Today is Monday, and today is officially the first. No, sorry. Today's officially the last first day of school I'll ever have. Today is Monday. I start school today, and last time I recorded, I set myself the goal to try to finish 2 books over the weekend. And honestly, the reason why that failed was because I told myself I didn't want to do that many books this year because I tend to give up easily when I just am not having a good time. And I don't think this fair for books, I guess. I don't know. So I decided not to do enough books today or this year. And I was reading the paper by Marjorie Lewis. Duras. Duras. I don't get it. I do get it. I get the hype. I understand why people like it. I just think it's overhyped, in my opinion. So it took me a while to finish this book. It took me a while to finish this small book, and I didn't reach my goal of finishing 2 books. I am going to try to juggle reading 2 books this year because for school specifically, I will be reading a lot, but I also want to read for fansies. I don't know what my copy is, but the next book that I want to read is Murders, and I'm bored now. And I'm really hoping that this helps me get out of my reading slump that I feel is coming in after reading the novel. I don't know. I was just really glad when I was finished with it. It was a hill to climb. I climbed it, but at what cost? And, everybody has their own opinions, their own everything like that. And that is fine. Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
I can't find. And I'm overexposed. Jesus. Okay, I can't find my regular tripod for this camera. But hi, good morning. Hi. I am actually about to start class. I can't remember if I mentioned it actually, but I am teaching for the very first time online. And I am a tiny bit nervous, but I think I got it. I think everything is okay. I prepared as much as I could. I guess we shall see about that because, I feel like something just always happens to go wrong on the first day of school. Knock on wood, knock on wood, knock on wood. I think I'm prepared so far. So, again, we shall see. Okay, so welcome to week 1. As I said, today is just syllabus week. So basically these next few slides are what's on the actual syllabus. I just want to highlight some things specifically to talk about in class for me to actually tell you guys about them. If you guys have any other questions, the syllabus is on iCollege, and I will.
actually did kind of have high expectations for this book, but so far it is definitely meeting them. The prose that I've read so far is so nice. I actually find myself putting it down more often than not. Not that I don't want to read it because it's bad, it's more like I don't want to read it because I know I'm liking it so far that I want to really take my time and digest what I'm reading so far. Only 40 pages in. To be fair, I have been really busy. I'm only 40 pages in, and I'm really taking my time for this book. I already have a couple marks, underlines, things that have just really blown me away in terms of the quality of the writing, which is why my bookmark is a pen. So there's that. I'm hoping to finish this book pretty soon. I think I'm going to make a separate update video about grad school and teaching. So far, the end of my first week of the semester is here. Basically, the first week of my semester ended. You know what I was trying to do with that sentence. And I am very optimistic. I feel like everything is going to go pretty well. Hopefully, I'm not jinxing myself. But I do feel a sense of dread. But sometimes I can kind of feel like it's going to be a stressful semester just from reading the syllabus. And I've always been right. But right now, I feel okay. The classes that I taught have been smoothly, so I'm just going to try to stay positive from here.
Next to the one that Patrick lives in, and this guy is a godsend because he actually cares about order, and so he like alphabetizes the shelves in the books. Chaos, and he came in and it was just like support as they are grieving and just are unable to care for themselves, let alone care for their baby. He finds that his little bookstore apartment is getting quite crowded, and there's just this really beautiful found family feeling, a lot of just healing, and even though this is
So that you can make sure you get exactly what you need. Wild Grade offers the classic box, which is the one that I always get, but then they also offer a vegan box, a gluten-free box, and a protein box. I'm always so excited to receive my Wild Grade box, and this one did not disappoint when they sent me chocolate croissants, giant chocolate chip cookies, slow fermented artisan pita, slow fermented olive oil ciabatta bread, regular croissants, a sourdough loaf, and red cultivated sugar fresh butter. I obviously wanted to give the giant chocolate chip cookies. Yeah.